there was a community. Everyone was crying, laughing. You were patting each other's backs. And that's community, and that's visibility. A lot of different texts, a lot of personal or not texts, who knows. A lot of care. And I don't want to focus on the soft things of what happened today. And so, care and community is a very, very important infrastructure stuff. And that's what I also want to talk about with you. But first, I want you to talk about yourself. So I was thinking about the most usual question you can ask a writer or an interesting person in general. What would that opening question be? So I decided that I don't have that question, and I will let Lucie talk about yourself and whatever she would want to share with this group tonight.
Thank you. And first, you said, I was there. Hearing you read, and obviously I don't speak Greek, as you know, but it was really an experiment for me, an experience to see everything that that I can understand, even if I don't understand any of the words. And I think I felt every text in a very difficult, in a very specific way, and that's interesting. And I just don't know what you talked about, but I had a feeling of what was your text. And even we talked before, for those who were at the masterclass, of what is a voice in a text, and I could feel it in many texts. So,
wow, that's very special.
Yeah, it was moving. So thank you. And for me, I don't know what to say first now, but I'm a novelist. I'm a novelist. I wrote 3 novels, even if only 2 were published. The third will be published in September, in something talking with Alexandra, who's a friend, Alexandra K, who's a dear friend of mine. I met her in a residency in Barcelona in September. And we were talking about French publications, that all the novels come out at the same time. And it's like Hunger Games. You only have room for 20 or 30 books, and the other won't exist. So my new book went printed yesterday. Yay! So I'm scared now. And I write only novels, fictions, and scripts too. I'm writing 2 TV shows and 3 feature movies. I'm a director. I directed 5 short movies and 2 documentaries. So I like writing. That's my job. I'm really lucky, and I feel lucky, and in a place like that, especially to be doing that job. And I also teach, and I like it too. I think for me it's 2 activities that are very linked, because it's a very solitary job to be writing. You can sit all day by yourself inventing words in your head. I don't know how we don't become mad, all day long without talking and inventing things and supposing people are gonna like what you're writing. So teaching is like doing community with what you do, and that's why I like it so much.
So 3 things: writer, director, and teaching.
Yes.
What's the most difficult one?
I think it's writing.
Why?
Because it's something against yourself to create a whole world and to think it's going to be interesting for somebody, and to find the voice, and to take courage to finish it, because it can take 2 years, 3 years, and you have to write, but it's never good from the first time. I don't know what you think, but me, I don't write well, and I don't know anybody who writes a sentence and it's a perfect sentence, and there are only perfect sentences until the end of the book. You have to rewrite all the time, and to feel brave and about it. So for me, it's the most difficult experience.
So bravery is part of the job description. You kind of have to be brave.
Yeah, perseverant and a little bit crazy about. A little bit crazy, not because it's. It's strange to make people talk in your book all the time and to try to know them. It's like hearing voices and trying to see them on the page in the best way possible. So yeah, for me it's a very intense experiment. And I just wrote my third book, was written in a month only. The other ones I wrote it during 3 years.
Okay.
And this one was very intense for me. So
I remember you had to take a good rest after, because we were talking about her visit here, and I could tell that you were exhausted in not a physical, because I didn't know you, but in a not mental, but like psychologically you needed some rest.
Yeah, I needed it. Yeah, exactly.
My idea of this conversation, just a little disclaimer, is that I want to ask on behalf of a lot of people some questions to Lucie, but then the floor is yours. She's here. She's not going to be here all day, so we have some time with an established writer, teacher and director to ask questions, like you did with our other amazing guests during the masterclasses. So do use this time to hear what we're saying, of course. Don't ignore our conversation, but also think about what you would like to know and ask, if they may. Yeah?
Yeah, sure. Okay. And there is no bad question.
There's no bad question. The word voice comes up a lot when you speak, and then voice was one of the main of the words you used to title the masterclass. So, and we talked about this briefly in the kitchen, where all the amazing conversations happen. We talked about my next question. I wanted to, and what I really wanted to ask Lucie, and a lot of other writers, female writers I know, is this. So I'm going to put it simply. If you are a feminist, if you're a woman, and you're a feminist outside of your writing work, do you feel obliged, or do you have to bring the feminist perspective into your work?
Yeah, I think I don't feel obliged of anything, and that's what's good in writing, and that's only experiment first, and that's very strange, because feminism it's a term with history, and Greek feminism has different history than French feminism. But I think when I write, in a strange way, words don't come first. I'm not saying I'm gonna make a feminist book or I don't know, even a novel. I never said to myself I'm gonna write a novel. Some things come up, and after I can decide what they are. So I think I thought a lot about that question. It was the most difficult for me. But I think I never know what I am doing. And it's very strange. Until the public reads it, I don't know what I wrote. And it's every time a very strange experiment to discover in the eyes of others what I wrote, what are my novels. For instance, my first novel that is translated here, in France, people told it was funny. A lot of people said, "Oh, how funny is that book?" And for me, I never thought it was funny. Oh, wow. And I was really surprised, because that was the first reaction. And for me, it's a terrible book. Terrible, horrible, it's a tragedy. And when the journalist said it was funny, I said, "Oh, yeah." And after I reread it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I know why they are saying that." And I understood. And I think that's the same for feminism. I never, for instance, all my characters are always women, and the men are
that's why
like
I'm asking
in a corner. They are in a corner, and they are like never the main character. And I couldn't, I think, do a character as a man. And journalists often ask me, why don't you like man? And I'm like, it's not that I don't like them. They don't interest me in a literary way, at least. And I never think about it, but yes, I think my writing is feminist, especially the last one. But if nobody tells me so, I wouldn't say. I think authors are the worst for talking about the work.
But that's a very interesting answer. In the literary circles, and maybe the rest of our guests can also answer that. I'm looking at some people. Do people expect because we talk a lot about the male gaze, about the female gaze, everything in between we don't. We talk mainly about the male gaze and the female gaze. So do you feel the expectation from literary circles to write as a woman in a million quotes, just because you're a woman?
Yes.
And how does that come up? Does that come up in reviews from your publisher or from? And you, if you don't want to talk about your experience, it's fine. But you can talk about what's happening in the industry, what you've heard.
I think it's very convenient for people sometimes to say, "Oh, she's a feminist," or "She's writing as a female," to take it not seriously or something. Me, my publisher in France is very considered posh, very posh and very intellectual,
high end.
Yeah, and so I don't have that kind of thing like she's a woman or so on. Kind of they don't care, but each time they ask me questions about my life. For instance, they ask me if I have kids or what I do with the kids, especially when all the extra literary words, festivals and articles and so on, they always mention that I have kids, that could you come because you have kids, so maybe you can't come, so maybe we won't invite you, that kind of things. So it's a trap sometimes. And about the reception, it's always the question. One of the first questions is that it's very strange that my characters, they are female. Why are they female? Is it because I am a girl? And second, why do I hate men? This comes up a lot. And third, why are they crazy? And for me, they are not crazy. They are okay. They have problems, and I like fiction when it gets very intense. So I push situations until the very intense way. But they are not crazy.
That's true from the book that I've read, for sure.
Yeah, and often women who are strange perception and so on are called crazy. That's a way of disqualifying their point of view too. So that's a way of talking about it, I think. Yes?
Are they male journalists or are they female as well?
Both. Yeah, I think it doesn't change many things in the reception. But I think for all kind of identities, it's the same. We are stuck with who we are as a writer, and often the journalists always talk about the characters as if it was you, which was not. And I have the same for other writers, other friends. They ask them, for instance, you talk about your, they always confound the narrator and the author. It's a very common thing. So for women, it's like that.
Do they ask male? The question was whether these questions come from male journalists or female journalists, and the answer was from both. And I want to take this a bit further and ask, do they ask, I think I know the answer, but I want it to be recorded. Do they ask male writers about their kids, or do they, are they ambivalent about, is he coming to the festival? Should we invite him? He has 3 kids.
I would have to ask men, but I don't know.
But do you suppose that they do?
No, I suppose that they don't. Of course. I never saw it on an interview. My friend were whiter than male. I never saw it in an interview. If I don't know them, I don't know if they have kids. For me, I have at least 5 articles who say that I have kids.
Okay.
And I really don't talk about it on my books, as you know. I never mention it.
But even if you did?
Yes.
Even if you did?
Yes.
Now, again, we talked about with Stella whether we should translate our findings and the asks and all the things that Stella shared at the beginning of tonight. I know it's light, but it's almost 8, so it's a night. Whether we could translate it, but then there was no time. So I want to recap in a minute what our main findings were from designing and implementing the program, and that also translate into our asks from stakeholders, from people who have power, usually men, to change things about not only female writers, but just generally underrepresented writers. And 3 things came up. The first one was, and I talked about this before, visibility. So the need to have diverse voices truly there in a systematic way, so not just as bonus people or bonus guests, but with a structured approach from diverse backgrounds, from underrepresented, representing underrepresented groups. And we need this in festivals, in residencies. We need this kind of criteria so that not only 1 or 2 or 3 kinds of voices are heard or read. Okay, so the first one was visibility, and this a systematic approach to this kind of visibility. The second one was, and again, we talked about this a lot, and during the masterclasses, the true power, the hard power of community, and not only as a pat on the back, but there were a lot of women participating in the masterclasses, and I remember, and I know who you are, that said, I can't write. I come here for the command receipt, and they stood up here today with their text that's being published, etc., etc. So they are writers, or they became writers for this program. So community should not be seen as a perk, as a luxury. It should be seen as a structural element, and that's what we're asking, of the program's design. Yes, have your alone time to create, but also make it a system of providing community elements into whatever you're designing in terms of boosting creativity and creative people. Yeah. Okay, that was the second one, and the third one was childcare. And since we talked about having kids, a lot of women who participated in this program could do so because in our live events, in our live writing groups, in the live master classes, we can't do that online, I'm sorry. That happened during COVID though. We provided childcare. So you can come in here, bring your kids, and they're there. Sometimes you can hear them, sometimes you can't. So that you can be here and do your thing, and network and learn and teach. So this will, and how we should make childcare, again, not as the provision of childcare in festivals, in residencies, in programs like this, or smaller programs or bigger programs. Again, a structural element and not a luxury or a perk. So these were the 3 things, the 3 main things, let's say, that came out of the program. And I'm recapping this in English to ask you, you kind of answered that, or maybe I'm projecting your answer, so I will ask you, what feels more personal to you from these 3, let's say, key learnings, and if you have to share a best practice, a story of somewhere, is it France, is it a specific institution, is it a residency that you have once been, that solved this kind of issues or has tried to solve this kind of issues and is working and you would like to share?
Yes.
Because people are listening.
Yes, one of it's the second one for me, even if the two others, I do agree with the two others, but community, I made a creative writing class, and that's how I dared to be a writer. Before, I had not written anything. I liked telling stories to my cousins, to my brother, to my friends, but I would have never dared. And I applied when I worked in communication field before, and I come from a family which is not in literature at all, from the south of France, and being a writer was not an option. I didn't even know it was a job, that you could be paid for that you are paid, or you could be alive and writing. I know it's not logical, but for me it was a nonsense. So I didn't know, and when I knew it was a possibility, after my burnout from communication, I tried to apply to this program, which is in Paris 8 in France, and I was taken with one page I wrote in one night because I was so stressed. I waited until the deadline. That's me, that I always do it. At the end, it works well, but it's procrastination. It tells me to be very efficient, but in a very small amount of time. And it was a chicken. It was a book of the chicken, about the chicken, the beginning. I applied, I was taken, and then we were 15, and we talked about the books. The program was about reading other books, the books of the other participants, and being read, and learning to hear the critics, and to hear what you are doing. And this was so precious, because people were very, not nice, that's not being nice, but very precise in what they told you. It was not like, I like what you are writing, or I don't like it. It was like, oh, when you do it, it's very interesting that you used that word. Did you think about it? So it made me very precise. And he gave me a lot of strength. And I don't know if I could have done something like that. And now they are all friends. We are still reading each other's books. Some of them, a lot of us became writers. We never became enemies. It creates a community, and it gives me a lot of strength and a lot of I'm calm when I'm with them. I have no shame in being in public, which was terrifying for me, and I think it's community. And even in residency, like we did with Alexandra, it's the same. It's meeting people that give you strength, make you think about what you are doing, and hearing other people's experience about writing. So for me, that's it. But I think it's for writing, but for everything. For creating freely, and I feel very, how do I say, proud of the way we have designed the program, because the writing group participants can testify to that. We had a lot of that. We had a lot, and at first I know people were a bit anxious of reading out their work, or even sharing it with people. You have to feel the trust. Yeah. Because what if they steal my idea? There's a lot of that in Greece. Yes, or my business idea. Let's expand that. It's not only about writing. And there was a lot of, sharing, not out loud like it happened today,
and it was a really great moment. But it was amongst groups that stayed the same throughout the writing group meetings, and they gave our prompt was give each other constructive feedback.
Yes.
Because I think it's what you said. Community is not only about meeting new people or having them supporting you and say you did great. It's about
receiving feedback and knowing how to read yourself. Through the other, you know better how to read yourself, so better how to write. And that's a very intimate bond to be writing together, to show your writing. It's very intimidating thing that you never, I don't know if you knew each other before, the participants, no. So you don't know somebody and all of a sudden you give a very intimate text or something that you, it's strange, no? To know somebody like your friend for a long time, and it gives a special bond, I think.
Thank you so much. I have a last question. Have you prepared your questions? Okay, then I will not ask my last question. I will give the floor to you. Who wants to take the microphone first? You can have mine. Yes.
The discussion was very interesting, and my feeling from this evening is that the creative work of writing is a kind of psychotherapy, because every time you write and you feel that there are some points, good points in this, in your piece of writing, or some negative points, some negative aspects in that, you can evaluate yourself and feel good with yourself, proud of yourself. Do you agree that this is a kind of psychotherapy, or that this creative process makes you feel proud, especially when you see that the public buys your book?
That's a good question, a tricky one, because I would like to say yes, and every time I write a book after I feel better, but the truth is no. I don't. I think I would like to hear what you say about it. Sorry, I won't involve you, but I think it's putting the word into a form. So that's very relieving sometimes. You can create a form with something that's a problem for you. For instance, my book about chicken is like, what is it to eat meat when you like animals? Is it okay to eat meal? And that's a problem I had. And so I wrote a very strange form about it. So yes, I like it because it's over, it's a form, it's on a book. So I like it, but it doesn't solve anything in the real world. It would be too easy. But like psychotherapy, maybe. But so maybe it's the same. But it's you're putting a form. And the second thing is, yes, I feel proud and I feel happy of what I do, and I have a lot of luck of being read. And yes, it was a dream. And each time, even in France, I was very lucky because I had an amazing editor, and now I have editors in amazing editors in many countries. And yes, it's a dream. It's a hard job, but I think I can't complain.
When did you start writing books and publishing your books?
I started at 25 and I published my first at 27. Before I worked 7 years in communication at Canal+, and in an advertisement agency.
And then burnout comes.
And burnout, yeah.
Thank you.
And but it was, I'm going to talk about my kid, but it was when I had my kid at 26, at 25, I started writing. I think it has a link too. I wanted to be proud of something, I think, and I was really not proud of my life at that point.
Thank you. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ.
So I insist on that it's some kind of psychotherapy because you gave up on everything that was a burden to you and you found your path.
Σωστό.
Yes. I'm going to think about it. I swear.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ.
Thank you.
Επόμενη. Ναι.
Hi.
Hi.
I love Leçon de Poulet, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
When I attempt to write in the first person from the point of view of someone who does not have the same demographic characteristics as I do, let's say as an elderly person from the countryside, I have this sense that I am sacrificing my voice and my style in order to sound convincing. Have you ever felt this when writing, and how did you deal with it?
Yes, I have. When I tried to write as a man. No, it's true. During 4 years, I wrote a book about video games, and one of the point of view was a male, and I liked him very much, but I couldn't find his voice. And I think it was because it was a male, and I don't know why, because I think I knew him, because I have a little, when I struggle with a character, I have a lot of questions, like 50 questions to ask your character. It's like a little bit stupid, but useful. Like, what's your favorite word? What's your favorite color? And you ask that question to your characters, and the answers have to be different than the ones you would give as an author. So maybe that's a good start, but at the same time, maybe it's about not struggling to be, even if it's different. I don't know who was your character. He was somebody very different from you.
Let's say an elderly person from the countryside, coming from a village, haven't been to the university, unlike me, let's say.
Maybe reading other writings from authors who came from this background, and trying to understand the way they could talk.
She has been talking
think.
for 4 hours.
And it's very strange. It's because French and English, I think, don't have the same pronunciation at all, so it aches.
I know you.
I don't know if it's the same in Greek, but it's hard to be, And to read and not to eliminate every cliche, all the first thoughts you can think about, and maybe not to restrain yourself, to write as you think from that point of view, and after eliminate and trying to know somebody. No, I don't know if that helps. I will think about something better. But yes, I don't have any answer, because at the end I always come back to somebody who's not like me, but who has kind of the same experiment of the world. Something in particular is that all my characters come from Perpignan. Even if I don't say it, the place I was born, even if I live in Paris, it's been 20 years, none of my characters live in Paris. They all come from Perpignan. And I think that's the same for a lot of writers. I don't know in Greece, but in France, we always, our characters always come from where we come from as an author. Like childhood creates something in imaginary that you can't change really. But it's a very strange experiment. I'm not attached to Perpignan, not so much. I could write something in Paris, but I don't. I never do.
Yet.
So yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Hello. Thank you for everything you've shared so far.
Welcome.
I wanted to ask you if you can share with us your writing routine somehow. What struggles do you face while writing, and how do you find consistency?
Mm.
Thank you.
Yes. I like this question of routine because it's a very good question and a very personal one because everyone has a very different routine. And I love reading about writers' routine.
Me too.
So I'm a very chaotic person and I don't like to do the same every day. I can't do that. So I think what I learned is that the position of a writer, being a writer, is very frightening for me. So once I had an office, a room of my own, and I hated it because it was like me playing the writer, being a writer, and I had to write interesting stuff. And I was like, oh no, that's not interesting, and judging myself. So what I need to do is to let the word come without judging myself, which is not easy. And I think for all writers, it's one of the main issues, not to delete everything, saying, I'm bad, it doesn't work. So for that, I often write in a non-impressive way, in a place which is not made for walking. For instance, in the subway, in the bus, in a bar, with a room full of kids or full of noise, and I'm trying to focus on my text. If I don't focus on my text, I'm telling myself, okay, the text is not good enough, I'm not concentrated, I prefer listening to other discussions. And that's kind of a test that am I passionate about what I'm doing? And I like it. Being in some place, I can do something else, but no, I'm doing that crazy stuff about writing a book. And I like confronting my writing to the world and to let me have the choice. So yes, it would be my routine. And the other thing is that when I can't write this way, I write on my telephone, which is a very small space, and it changes my way of writing, and I like it too.
Okay.
So yes, it would be my routine. And the other thing is to write with friends. Residencies are cool for that. It's to write with somebody who can say, oh, you're not working, or who's working better than you, like working a lot, and you are, okay, me too, I have to work. So I think, community and not being impressed by what you do, not saying, I'm a writer, I can do that. I think it was, it's a very long answer, no?
No.
I have to.
It's a good one.
I don't remember who it is who wrote in like that, in a very not easy way, and he made a strange position. He said, the more I'm uncomfortable, the better is my writing. And I think I'm of that kind. I'm not like Stephen King, who's very like, he wakes up every day at the same time, he's running like 5 kilometers, and after he works.
No, that doesn't work for you.
You're welcome.
No.
I also had the same question in my mind, the same one that you asked, but I wanted to ask something in specific. For instance, you said that you write in bars or in the subway, but you don't have a computer with you, right?
In bars, yeah. In the subway, it's so fun on my phone, but it happened to me to open my computer and to take notes.
Okay. Because I do the same thing when I have my phone. I write on my phone. But then I mostly write on my phone because it's something that I see and I don't want to forget it, so I open my notes and I write something there. But when I sit in front of my computer and I say, okay, now I'm going to write, I start writing my sentences and I don't like them and I delete them.
And then I said to myself, okay, maybe you should take a book or a note and write. I mean, I have this character, and that's his name, and he does this and that and that and that, and I have to answer what he does. And then I think about something that would happen to him, and how that would make a change in the story.
Yeah.
And who would be the one to help him if something goes wrong. And I want to ask you, I don't know if that works. I don't know if that works, but I want to ask you, what's the procedure that you use? You just take notes, you sit there and you think thoughts and bullets and you answer things, or you read something in a book and then you open another book and you read something else and an idea comes to your mind. What's the procedure for you?
For me, it's before I write anything, I know all my story, because you talk about the plot, like I know everything before I start writing, because I can have it in mind, the story, during 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Before the chicken, I had it 10 years before I wrote it. So, and sometimes it was not always in my mind. It was, I had the idea, and sometimes something I read or something I saw made me think about it, and I say, this story would be cool if she wrote biographies of chicken. Maybe this chicken could be called Lolita, I don't know. And sometimes I took notes, but most often I just thought about it. And after a time, it became a story, and I knew from the beginning to the end how it was going to be. Except that I didn't really know my character. And that's what drives me into writing, is that to know this character, to know what she will do in my story. I don't know if it's clear, but it's like meeting someone for me. A lot of writers know the characters first. They don't know the plot, but they know the character. Me, I have kind of a voice, as I told you, as a voice, and I have the plot, but I don't know her exactly. I don't know where she comes from. How old is she? Is she blonde? Is she? I couldn't say all that. So she surprised me. She surprises me, and each time it has been the same. Like a very oral thing that I'm telling myself the story because I like it, and because it never goes away. Most of the stories, because I have a lot of imagination, and I like stories, so a lot of time when I'm falling asleep, I have ideas, this could be interesting, and so on, and I forget it immediately. I don't know, I think everybody has something like that. And these stories I write, my 3 novels now, like I can say, they are things that obsesses me. For a reason I ignore, but I have something I have to solve in it. So yeah, that's it. I don't know if I answer, but yeah, so I have the plot but I don't have post-it and so on.
And bullet
because I have
points.
Everything in my head, and that's the only place in my head which is not messy.
Thank you.
I have to ask something else also.
Can it be a very short one so we can give the microphone to another person?
If you want to write about a specific subject that you don't know much about it, perhaps this person is a nurse.
Yeah.
What then?
I read a lot about it, and I meet nurses. And I meet a lot of nurses, and a lot of people who know nurses, and I read a lot about it. But it's not like doing a research and but yeah, it's more about meeting people. For instance, for chicken, I didn't know anybody who killed chicken, so I met a lot of farmers, a lot of people working with chicken, and they told me about their experience.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can we take one last question so we can then end up with listening to Lucie's own text? The floor is yours.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing the knowledge.
You're welcome.
Honor. I have two questions. I'll try to make them.
Please do.
First one is a follow-up to that one that you just mentioned about the first obsession. My question is, what comes first before you start writing your novel? Is it the plot? Is it the character? What is the motive that makes you want to write? Is it the topic? Because Alexandra also told us that the topic is important. So is it that one or something? A need, a wish?
In fact, I really couldn't know. I would like to know. No, that's something that obsesses me. I think it's a problem I have in real life, but I don't really know I have that problem. For the chicken, it was about meat. For GPS, it was my addiction to phones, and why I have always this thing in my hand. The third one is traumatic amnesia. So what is it to forget something and to hide something from yourself, even if it's for good reasons. So yeah, I think it's a question I want to solve, but there is no easy way to solve them. And literary is here, novels for not solving something that you can't know, because I don't solve anything, and I wouldn't like to solve anything.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And my second question was about the other question that you mentioned, that the journalists are asking you, why do you hate men? And my thought was like, why do we never hear this question about women characters in literature? And
Yes, it
like,
would. Yeah.
Have you ever listened to any male writer being asked, why do you hate women in your books? Or?
No, but I will ask them when I do debates, because
See?
sometimes I do. I will ask them. It will be interesting.
Because I wanted to ask you if you have experienced any double standards of sexism in your being a director or a writer, if you can share any experience with us about sexism in being a creator.
In a strange way, nothing comes to my mind, but
I remember.
you remember? What?
She comes out of the shadows now.
Oh, yes.
See, the friends remember, but we forget. Thank you, friend.
Yeah. For instance, I was winning a very good, amazing prize in France, which is what was one of my dreams, and it was a night. There were like 1,000 people, and for me, and I made a speech, and I'm Spanish, so my dream is to be published in Spanish, and I was published in many countries and not Spain. And a Spanish editor came and said, "Oh, I want to publish you and to make you a kid, not to make you, to make you pregnant." And I was like, and it was the story you thought about, or there are because there are other ones. It's true. In fact, there are many. And you know, you think
Talk
it's
about
your
traumatic
night, you are
amnesia.
like powerful and you want something, and then okay. But I was published, not by him, but I was published in French.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for your questions.
Thank you so much for the chat and for the conversation. Thank you for your questions. Because I don't want, for once in my career, I don't want to end an event on a practical note. So I will say the practical thing now, and then we will end up with, we will finish this event with Lucie reading her the thing that she wrote for this program. So in the meeting room that you see next to the reception area, you can buy Lucie's book and other books as well. And I will also want from Areti Georgili, she's a dear friend, a feminist, and the owner of a bookshop called Free Thinking Zone. And I want also to take the opportunity and thank Maria. Is Maria still here? Okay. So Maria Giparakis, she's the Lucie's publisher here in Greece, Stilvi Publication. So a big thank you to Maria for not only making this happen, but you know, finding voices. Thank you so much, and Lucie, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much to me, and you're welcome.